Hey everyone, welcome to your weekly Investibles update. So this week, while we're working on improving the Oratis campaign pitch based on feedback we've received, and while Oratis themselves are working hard to promote it to their fans, I thought I'd talk a bit about the Investibles business itself. This is still a work in progress, of course, but as we build things out, it forces us to become clearer on what it is that we're creating. What's the essence of it? What problems is it solving, really? When I talk to founders about their business, especially first-time entrepreneurs, I strongly advise them to make sure they're solving a real problem. Too many founders spend years building a solution before making sure that it actually solves a problem that people are willing to pay for. With a bit of experience, it's possible to take shortcuts. In this case, I had two shortcuts available which helped us to get started. First of all, I've spent a decade at Grantry talking to founders about funding. So I have a fairly good sense that not enough funding is a very common problem and worth solving. And as a founder myself, I know that problem directly. And finally, there's plenty of evidence that raising money is a big topic, like the plethora of articles about how to make a good pitch deck. By the way, I wrote a thread about this recently, and I've since put it up on my website, which I've been reorganizing a bit. Check out danieltenner.com if you want to read more about pitch decks. I'll probably make a video about it at some point too. Now, Investibles is not just solving a one-sided problem though. There's another side to the equation, investors. And there I was also able to leverage my own and various friends and colleagues' experience as investors to take another shortcut and figure out what the problem might be. Namely, angel investing sucks. I myself stopped investing because the system seems so badly set up. For far too many angel investors, startup investing is more like a very expensive charitable hobby than an actually profitable activity. That's mostly for one reason: lack of liquidity. Startup shares are often illiquid for 5 to 10 years, and that's if they ever get to a point where you can sell them. Most of them don't. I could keep talking about this problem for quite some time. There's all sorts of subtle secondary impacts of this, such as the way funds end up structured, which pushes investors to only consider startups that can get billion-dollar exits, which makes the funding situation even worse for founders, or discrimination, or liquidation preferences. But that's for a more detailed video. The point is, this problem was also very clear to me as an investor myself. At this point in the business though, having proven that we can build this, that it can be done legally, that we are able to execute at least once without major showstoppers, the next step comes into view, and for this, it's important that we get a clearer vision of what it is we're building. The essence of Investibles is solving this two-sided problem: helping founders raise funding, helping investors make profits. This is done by creating an investment vehicle that has better liquidity than shares. Simply tokenizing the shares, which many other companies are currently doing, doesn't quite do this though, because there's a third ingredient needed. As we've seen in the NFT market, there's no point in being able to sell something if there's no willing buyer, which brings in the third part of the Investibles business, which makes it not just a two-sided market, but a three-sided market. How do we get everyday investors interested? Now, one approach is to build a global casino. That's what NFTs and crypto and Robinhood and before them spread betting sites have done to get retail investors interested. They've basically appealed to the gambling urges within all of us. Now, I don't have a problem with gambling so long as it's done consciously and doesn't wreck the gambler's life. It's a great form of entertainment and can be a lot of fun, but I feel more drawn to investing, which I see as different. It's not just about short-term gains, timing the market, etc. Gambling or trading to me seems like a win-lose game. I like win-win games, and investing is a win-win-win game. When it works out, the investor gets more money, the entrepreneur gets to build the business they dreamt up, and the customers get a product or service they didn't have before. Win, win, win. So if I define investing as giving money to an entrepreneur who, over the next few years, turns that money into a successful business that solves a critical need in the world, how do we get everyday people to invest in that? That's the central question that Investibles is working to solve. Our solution, at this point, is to take the best of what NFT projects pioneered during the bubble and combine that with the best of startup funding, and see if we can create a product that is interesting to both institutional investors like angels and funds, and to everyday investors who aren't into gambling but would back a Kickstarter for a business they care about, if only that was available to them. It's pretty hard to pull off, both legally and from a conceptual perspective, and that's the journey we're on. I hope you also find this exciting. Please do share your thoughts here, on YouTube, or on Discord. GM, and good luck.